All right. Hello and welcome back to Average Joe Down Under. Another special episode here with Cal, also known as FIFO Cal at the moment. But yeah, so this is Cal McElwain, ready for our part two. If you haven't listened to part one, go and listen now on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, hello, welcome back.
Hello, what's happening? Good to see you again. Yeah, our first chat went well. I had a load of people say that they got a load of value out of it, and that was sort of like after my first like week or first swing or so, like after that one. So now I'm sort of been doing it, yeah, like 10, 11 months now. So I've definitely got a good bit more information to share, and what a wonderful platform to do it on. So yeah, let's get going.
Oh, thank you very much. And by the way, your episode is like going gung ho with all this TikTok and everything you've done in the last couple of months. So, also when we chatted and we first met through Instagram,
Yeah,
you just basically were starting on this journey. So a lot has happened since then.
yeah,
Obviously, if you haven't listened to the part one, you should. So now that you've kind of had time to work in this industry now, can you tell us a little bit more about what you're actually doing?
yeah.
First of all,
That's okay. So hello everybody. How's it going? Good to be back on part two of the Average Show Down Under with Darren. So yeah, pretty much like whenever we first got chatting, I was really just like finding my feet. The whole industry was so alien to me and so new. And I've even posted like little like videos and shit like on my TikTok and all. Like, see the first couple of days, I was like, what the hell is this place? This is so far removed from anything I've been used to. But your body's just naturally amazing, and you after just doing the same sort of thing day by day by day, you just naturally learn and absorb all the information. And now I'm sort of pretty confident with everything that I'm doing. So I'm a serviceman, right? A serviceman. So we're like an earth moving company, right? So our company is a Queensland based company, and we're contracted into one of these big mining contractors to like build a part of the mine for them, right? And so we have about maybe 45 to like 50 machines on our crew, on our job, that are like being used every day. So I'm a serviceman. So what my role is, I drive a service truck, and I have to go around a little routine and sort of cover all of the machines every single day. And I have to top them up with diesel first and foremost, and grease. Grease is like lubricant around like joints. Oh, Darren, you're away there. Are you going? Can you hear me? I don't know where you are. I'll just keep talking. But yeah, so the service truck, you come back on, lad. Oh, you're not there. Well, I'll just keep it out until Darren gets back in. So yeah, the service truck. So I drive a service truck, and I have to do fuel, grease. So the grease is like whenever like pins are moving and shit like that. The grease is like lubrication, so they can move a bit more like freely rather than being all like seized up and fucked. Do you know what I mean? So it's really just like preventative maintenance. So I'm trying to like maintain all the machines, that they're all in good working order for as long as possible. And then I'll go around and I'll like, if they need engine oil, or if they need hydraulic oil, or if they need transmission oil, or if they need AdBlue, or if they need coolant, or if they need fucking water or air or whatever. So my little like service truck is almost like a Swiss Army knife to try and like keep the fleet of machines like on the go, essentially. So yeah, it's a very important role. And like people would joke and say like, if my little service truck like goes down or something happens to it, like the whole job is fucking at a standstill until it gets fixed, because I'm the only one that goes around and fills everyone up with fuel. And my job, one of the main things, is to not let anything run out. So like, I have planned my little routine. I go into these little areas at certain times of the day, and I just fill everything up, and I'll just pull up beside a machine. Say for example, we're on like a digger or an excavator or whatever. I'll pull up beside the machine, bounce out, turn the compressor on, open the door. I'll then pull the fuel hose out, run up, put the fuel hose into the wee thing, come back down, get the AdBlue hose, pull that out, jump back up, go to the AdBlue tank, fill that up, jump back down. And then while that's going, then I'll go get the grease. Then I'll go grease all the. If it's auto grease, I'll do the auto grease pod, or if it's manual grease, I'll just do all the pins individually. And then then hopefully by the time that's done, the fuel's kicked off, the AdBlue's done. I'll pack everything back up again, and then pack it all up into the reels in my truck, and then just close the door and go to the next one. If the operator says, oh, I need a top up of engine oil, or I'm a bit low on this, or have a look at this. This looks a bit weird, or these digger tracks need pumped up, or whatever it is. I'll just do that. So you just pretty much are going around to like one machine. Like you go to one machine and you don't leave until it's like completely done and like all good. And then once that's done, then I'll just pack everything up, go to the next machine, and I'll literally just do that all day long until like all the machines are covered. So it's very, very, very like dynamic. It's very, very sort of fast paced, and I like it that way because your day goes in real, real quick. Like I have maybe like 20, 25 to probably like 20, 25 machines to do before Smoko. And the very, very first ones you have to go to are the big production ones. So all the big, big, big gear that needs to be done before the operator even arrives. Because if you're, for example, the big, big, massive digger that we have that fills like all the dump trucks, if he's already there and he's filling up trucks and then I haven't got him and he needs done, I then need to pull him away from filling up the trucks just so I can fill them up with diesel. And then there'll be fucking 10 trucks all parked waiting for him to fill them because I fucked up and not filled his machine up properly. So then the boss would be giving me shit because I haven't done my job properly. So I like all the big shit gets done before the operator even arrives, which is why I get paid for 12 hours on my shift and the operators get paid for 11 and a half. So the people in the workshop get paid an extra 30 minutes. Well, that's all my crew. I have no idea what it's like for other people, but that's what it's like for us. So yeah,
Right.
then I'll just and then after every couple of days, depending on where the machines are working, I'll get their air filters as well. So the air filters, it's exactly the same as a car. You have an air filter that's like sucking in air that the engine needs to work, and those air filters are working in super dusty and dry and humid, like stinking conditions. So every couple of days, they're completely full of like dusty shite and grit and stuff like that. So it's not allowing like the air to be sucked into the engine. So it's almost like the engine is it's almost like an engine trying to breathe with. It's almost like you trying to breathe with a hand over your mouth
The
is how
mask.
the engine. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, exactly. So everyone knows how shit that was to breathe with. So whenever the air filters are really, really clogged up, the engine's not getting enough air to work properly. So I have like a little filter sheet, and I write the dates on each machine, and then I'm able to keep on top of like when this machine's filters were done last, or I'll just do like all the dump trucks in one day, which is usually an absolute fucking nightmare, but it's just good to just get them all done. And then I'll try and do like diggers every other day, dozers every other day, and yeah, it's just flat out to be fair. But I enjoy it, and it's physical, and it's good workout as well. So yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
Well, actually, well so that's great to know what you actually do on a day to day basis. Could you, just off
Yeah,
that, since we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff today, can you tell us what other jobs there that one people could do if whether they're skilled or unskilled? So maybe let's talk about like the unskilled workers like yourself who are coming into FIFO for actually the first time. What
yeah.
job roles are there for them?
That's sweet. That's sweet. Right. So yeah, I came over with no experience. A lot of people are always asking like, "Oh, how did you have experience? Did you have qualifications before you came over?" I had nothing. I had nothing whenever I came over. I ran nightclub events and parties and put on like big raves and shit for people to party back home. And then I just knew I wanted over here. Heard about it. Heard it was hard to get into. You heard that like you needed to know somebody to get you in and all that kind of shit, which is like a tiny bit true, but it's also like I knew it was also a bit bullshit. Like I was like, if there's a fucking any kind of pathway in, I'm gun home for it, and I did, and it worked. So it can work for everyone else. So normal jobs for people to like start off with, I want a good. Well, I don't want to say a good one, but a popular one for people to get like very very entry level is called a driller's offsider. Right, a driller's offsider is essentially like you are a helper to the main driller, and who's running the rig, and you're pretty much his like assistant to like help him do whatever he needs to do. I haven't done this job, but I was super super close to doing it. If I didn't get the job that I'm doing right now, the next one I was going to be doing was a driller's offsider role. I'd already had 3 interviews by 3 different drilling companies, so if I didn't get the serviceman role, which I'm doing now, I was going to be a driller's offsider. So I was seriously looking into it. I was seriously considering it. It's meant to be very, very physical and very, very hard work, but I was totally willing to do that if it was going to get me a foot in the door to then do it for like a couple of swings. And then I just say, right, I've got a bit of background, I've got a bit of experience doing FIFO, working with machines, working regional, and then I can put that on a CV. So I was totally willing to do that. Other jobs you could be doing, like we have like a lot of green people that come up and drive dump trucks. So like a good couple of girls, good couple of guys, like on our crew have came up with like no dump truck driving experience, and now they're driving dump trucks, they're driving water carts, they're driving rollers, they're driving compactors, and it's a sort of foot in the door that way. So even though whenever you're on like Seek or you're on Indeed or wherever you're looking for the jobs, and it'll say like, oh, it needs 2 years experience. My fucking job said it needed 2 years experience, but whenever I got chatting to the guy and fucking turned the Irish Irish charm on, I was able to like play like a little cobra.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Other jobs, so driving jobs, dump trucks, water carts, rollers, compactors, they're all like very like easy sort of like jobs to do. And then you could be a driller's offsider role. You could be you could do utilities. Utilities, I'm a bit sort of on the fence with, not on the fence with. Okay, utilities are actually a very very good way to get your foot in the door, similar to the offsider role, right? But there are definitely some negatives about the utility role. The utility, whenever I'm talking about utility, you're essentially working on the camp. So you could either be a camp maintenance person, or you could be like a cleaner that like cleans all the rooms, or like an admin person that like works in like the offices and shit like that, or it could be in the kitchen. So like one of the fucking chefs or one of the cleaners and all that kind of stuff. So those are 100% options for like people like being a new starter. But the reason why I tell like people to not really go for them, or like go for them if it's like a last resort kind of thing, because you're still doing and you're still living in all the shit conditions that everybody on the project is living in, but you're getting paid like a decent bit less than what they're getting paid. So yes, obviously you're still getting you're still racking up loads of hours and you're still coming out with like a high wage at the end of the week, but comparing a utility wage to a person that actually works on the project wage, it's a considerably less. So if you're able to
Yeah.
like go for one of the project roles, definitely try and go for that first. And if you don't
So
go for that, yeah, keep going. What were you going to say? Sorry.
what you're saying is basically like if you're on one, basically if you're not at the camp, if you're off the camp working the sort of manual labor jobs, you're going to get more money than as if you were working on the campsite.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so.
Yeah.
But it's not like
Okay.
I'm not trying to put not trying to put down the utility role for people getting their foot in the door, because it is a way easier role to get, because the turnover is very very like high, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah.
people will come up and be like, nah, fuck this, I'm not doing it. But if you can, people go up and do it and last 3 or 4 or 5 swings, and then you're able to say on your resume, I've did FIFO for fucking 4 months or 3 months or whatever it is, and then that's, you've got FIFO experience, and you're at a way better level than someone that didn't even do the utilities at all. So that's what I'm saying. Like, go for it. Go for a utilities spot if it's like a last resort kind of thing. But
Yeah.
don't just stay there. Just use that to like get your foot in the door, and then once your foot's in the door, try and get onto one of those like actual project roles, because that's when you start making like a lot better money. You know
And
what I mean?
that's what people are going for. They're going for the money, and obviously they're not
Yeah,
going there for the
yeah.
experience to live in the middle of nowhere for weeks.
Nah,
you
nah,
know,
it's shit. So like it's not shit, but like it's hard. It's hard fucking work.
it's
Definitely is.
hard.
But another good one to, I only sort of really like found out about this one like relatively recently. See the bus driver role. The bus driver role seems like the fucking cruisiest job out there. So our bus driver, call him Callum, funny enough, cool name, and he gets paid for 10 hours, right? 10 hours in the day, and all he does is he wakes up in the morning, drives all the operators to site, which is about 40 minutes, drives back to camp. He does whatever the fuck he wants in camp until he has to go back to the work site to pick everybody up to come back in. So he's actually driving the bus like for an hour, and but he's getting paid a 10-hour day. So he goes back and has food, he goes back and has naps, he goes back and eats food, or sorry, it goes to the gym and just chills out, but he's still getting paid 10 hours. So a bus, and you can get that as an entry level role. So a bus driver is a cruisy role, but again, you're probably going to be getting less money than actually working on the main site,
Yeah, for
on the
sure.
main, on the main
They're only
project.
going to pay you so much money for doing so little hours,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So obviously
Yeah,
there's all those rules for well, I say unskilled, but you're skilled worker still, but
yeah, you're
you
still still
in
working.
terms of FIFO, you're unskilled and starting off.
Yeah,
And for
yeah,
those people who are
yeah,
like, I know that you're getting so many messages from electricians, plumbers, diesel mechanics,
Yes.
everything. Um, what jobs are there for those skilled workers, like who have all those qualifications? So for example, a lot of those ones that are contacting you are from the UK and Ireland and saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
I've just qualified as electrician. I've qualified as this here. I've always wanted to work in FIFO. What jobs are there?"
Yes. So this is a bit of a tricky, complex topic. So I'm going to give my best advice that I can, but anyone who's like actually in this fucking boat, do your own research, right? Because I'm just the guy from TikTok telling you this. So this is like where I'd like focus my efforts and like actually focus my research. But yes, Darren's completely right. So it's pretty because there's so many trades, right? Say for example, right, we'll take like an electrician, right? So an electrician has been working at home, right, and he's going right. I've just got my apprenticeship in electrician, just on my course. I know I want to move to Australia. So if he was wanting to come straight over to Australia, he still has to do all of the tests and the theory and the practical and all that kind of stuff because the currents and the theory is slightly different over here than back home, and everything over here is on the Western Australia standard. So see, even I'm pretty sure even if you go to like the East Coast and you want to come to the West Coast, everything over here, like the states are very, very like by themselves almost. Like Western Australia and like New South Wales and Queensland and all that kind of stuff. There's only a couple of tickets that'll actually like count over East and I'll also count over West, but the majority of them don't. So if someone was an electrician, you would have to come over here and do what's called a test of prior recognition of prior
Learning.
learning. That's what it's called. Yeah, recognition of prior learning, and you would have to do it in a training center. Say you come over to Perth, you would have to contact a training center in Perth that can help you through the process to transfer your ticket over. You can't just go, "There's my electrician ticket. Okay, thank you. I've now got my Australian electrician ticket." It's honestly, it's not that simple. I wish it was because it'd be fucking brilliant, but it's not that simple. So you would have to contact a training center over here and do all that. You have to do a theory test, you have to do a practical test, and they have to sort of sign you off that you like know what you're doing, kind of thing. So
Yeah. And I think
yeah,
also to add to that, there's the TRA skills assessment, really, and the TRA. And they're a good, actually, just pull up their website right now. It's at tradesrecognitionaustralia.gov.au. And apparently, they are really good for contacting and asking them what they need to do. Because a lot of people, I've had similar kind of I know people asking me about trades in New South Wales here, and I just point them to the TRA because obviously we don't know everything, but they are also telling them to go and get that training college and find out what they need to do to get that recognition of prior learning. And sometimes they'll even tell you what you need to update your skills in, or they'll tell you whether you've worked your work experience, whatever however long that may be, may count towards some of that recognition of prior learning as well. So that might help people out there as well.
yeah, definitely. So what's that website again? Just so people know.
It's the tradesrecognitionaustralia.gov.au.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna start. I need to do a video about that because I'm getting shitloads of messages about that question, and I've sort of
Yeah.
almost like shied away from it a wee bit just because I know that like I don't want to be putting out fucking bullshit and like lies to people. So I'm not really confident enough to like do a whole video just about that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I know
another
there's
thing is
also a
like,
sorry, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say like I have a mate up on site, Jake. He's probably like one of my best mates. He's from back home and he's been a tire fitter. So, young lad, 23, but he's been doing tires for fucking years and years and years. He's an absolute tire wizard, and everyone knows like he's our fucking tire man on site. And there's not much about tires that he doesn't know. So, and he's in that process of like transferring his tire ticket over, and he has told me about the whole like going through the recognition of prior learning. He's had to go through a training center. He has to get like our supervisor like sign off all these like logs of tires that he's changed and all kind of stuff. It's really really not as easy as just coming over here and just switching it over. So if anyone is in that
Yeah.
boat, go onto that website that Darren was talking about. Contact them, and those guys are the professionals. So I advise going to them first.
Yeah, and also you do your own research as well. Like, if you look at the skills assessment, whenever people go to do their skills assessment, like for example, me as a teacher, when I came, the government websites tell you what your recognition of body is. Like, for example, mine here in New South Wales is NESA, which is New South Wales basically education, right? So they're the education authority. They tell me whether my qualifications meet the standard. So, for example, if you are an electrician, there will be a body that you can go to speak to whether your qualifications work. For example, the FET, it's called VET ASSESS, which is really funny. So it's VETASSESS, which I know is crazy. But if you go and Google that word as well as the TRA, you will find a bunch of information related to up to, I think it's 28 specific trades. So if you go to those websites and you can literally Google them and contact people there, they're more likely to give you a professional answer.
Yeah, Darren, that's unbelievable. So you reckon like all the main sort of tradies from back home should all go to that fucking website to find out their governing body? If you're a
Yeah.
plumber or a carpenter or a joiner or a welder, over here they're called boilermakers, or a friggin' Sparky that we've just spoke about, or a tire fitter, whatever trade you are back home, if you're wanting to come over here and to transfer that ticket over, contact those guys that Darren just mentioned there, and
Yeah,
that's
I
who to
know
fucking
it's
talk to.
it's a crazy name, but it's worth finding out from them because obviously we're just two people that have a bit of knowledge. So, we've
Yeah,
been in this situation. We've had people come to us and we've had to look it up. And unfortunately, when you come to this place, you're going to have to do research, and you can't just rely on what someone else says. And I think that's the biggest takeaway: is really go and do your government. I will say, go to your government websites, because all these other people who have stuff out there cannot be 100% right all the time. So find the government website, find the skills or the trade skills assessment, or the VETASIS website, and just go and call them. Like literally get on the phone if you can't get through an email. A lot of people even say to me, "Oh, I've emailed them and there's no response." And I just say, "Have you called?" And they're like,
you need,
"Well, I didn't think I would
you need,
call."
yeah,
Yeah, just
hunt them
call.
down.
Just I know it's annoying. Um, okay, so we have discussed there's a bunch of roles out there for skilled and unskilled workers there. Um, okay, one big question that comes up, especially for you and for me, is what about the 6 month rule in terms of working holiday visa?
Yeah, are you still there? You just paused. Frig, you just paused again. Right, I'll just answer that question that Darren's mentioned there. I'm pretty sure my little like voice thing's still working. Hopefully it is. Right, so there's a 6 month rule. This is as of right now. Well, actually, it came into play on the first of January this year, right? So before the 1st of January this year, there was a rule that anyone over here that came over here could only work for one company for no longer than 6 months. So it was essentially forcing people on working holiday visas to like have to find jobs after 6 months, which was also hard for us to find jobs. Because see, whenever I first came over here, like a lot of people, not a lot, well, a good few people were saying, sorry, we're not hiring people on working holiday visas. And like I did hear that like a lot, and I was going, oh fuck, this is going to be way harder than I thought it was, because I thought you how it's sort of glorified online is you can come over here and people are just handing you a fucking job whenever you come over here. That is horseshit. So see anyone that says that, they're fucking lying. So and don't believe them either. So the 6 months.
Yep.
So as of the first of January this year, the 6 month rule has actually been relaxed, right? But it's not disappeared. So it's now been opened up. I did a whole video of this on my TikTok, and I'm trying to remember like all the details about it. But see if you go on to the immigration website, which is it's Emmy Home Affairs at fucking, let me look it up right now
Yep.
just to
No,
make sure
that's
this is
right.
right. It's
It's
Emmy
ME Home
dot
Affairs. Yeah.
yeah, emmy.homeaffairs.gov/au, and I then put /visas, right? So see if you go on that there, and I'll give you all the information about the working holiday visas, and it'll give you like it was called like exceptions to the rule or something, or like things that have been relaxed, and like give you like a couple of bullet points. So it's So that there 6 month rule does not exist anymore for certain industries. So it's still there for some industries, but it's not there for other industries. So they've sort of like relaxed it a wee bit. So it's really going to determine, and it's in some areas and not in some areas. So for example, someone can go up to the Northern Territory or Darwin or somewhere like that, like real rural, and any job that you do doesn't have to be the 6 month rule. But then if you come down to like Perth or Sydney or one of the major cities, it does matter. So it's really going to be like very individual to like where you're going and what industry you're going to be getting into. So similar as the last question, go on to the immigration website and like read it in black and white for yourself, because I don't want to like start going through all the bullet points, and if someone like picks up something wrong and goes all fucking boogaloo because they've believed me. So I'm telling you to not believe me and to go on to go onto the website and read it for yourself, because that's where I got the information. But if you're wanting it in like a lovely little short clipped answer with my face on it, just go onto my TikTok, scroll down. It's called like no more 6 month rule. I think I called it.
Yeah, I think
And
you
it pretty
did.
much went. Yeah, it's pretty much went into like the industries where it doesn't count and industries that it does count. So yeah, it's very very individual, but just know that has been relaxed. So try and go for something in industry where it's been relaxed. I'm pretty sure tourism and hospitality is two of the main industries where it's been scrapped. And to be honest, most people coming over here on a working holiday visa go work on in bars and in restaurants and cafes and travel and tourism and all that kind of shit,
Yeah.
which is the majority of people come over here. It's only the nutcases that want loads of money that want the FIFO job, like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as you said that you just talked about the crazy money thing, I'll just jump in there and say, you know, obviously I did the similar thing there with teaching, because obviously, if you didn't listen to any other, if you, even though this is a FIFO podcast, if you've listened to
Yeah.
some of the other episodes, you'll find out that I used boarding as a way of earning enough money to be able to save and buy a couple of properties. And
Right.
obviously people are on like TikTok and Instagram, and the trolls are coming for us when we talk about like we're saving. Um, People get so mad because everything's so expensive and yada yada yada. But look, it can be done. It can be done. And I will say, like for me teaching, I only work 9 months of the year and I got paid enough. I think it was nearly around 180,000 a year, because I chose not to live in my own place and pay rent in Sydney. I chose to live at the
Yeah.
school, and then I got free food and free everything. Like literally didn't have to literally spend a penny. So then I was able to save a lot and put it in towards,
Yeah.
as I said to you, properties and investments and etc., because I'm trying to better my life. And that was my main goal when
Yeah.
coming to Australia. And people get so mad. But anyway, so obviously there's opportunities in
Unreal.
FIFO you
No,
just
here,
mentioned.
that's it. Yeah,
Tell us
that's a sweet story. Like that's a sweet story that
tell
you've
us
got. So you're
more
essentially like all about money. Is that what you're talking about
about
now?
the money in FIFO. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, well, so at the very, very beginning, I came in on the very, very like lowest like wage, because I was like brand new and like hadn't a clue about anything. So they started me on 33.50 plus penalties. So that's another thing we'll talk about. So you can either be getting paid flat rate, or you can be getting paid your hourly rate plus penalties. So your flat rate is obviously just fucking say you're on $60 and you're just on $60 the whole time. If you're working your hourly rate plus penalties, so the penalties that we get right now, so for our first from our 1 to our 8 we get our normal base rate, right? And then after that, from our 8 to our 10 we get paid time and a half, and then from our 10 to our 12 we get double time, and that is all week, all week long. And then on Saturday, our first 2 hours are time and a half, and the rest is all double time. And then on Sunday, all of it is double time. So you're doing that for 3 weeks in a row. We also get paid Pilbara allowance, which is $4.50 extra on top of every hour that we work. So I work 84 hours a week. So I'm getting whatever 450 times 84 is on top of my wage. And we also get travel allowance as well, which is, it takes us maybe like 40 minutes to drive from the camp to our where we work, and it's 40 minutes back. So they pay us like a bit for that as well. So that's penalties. But if you're on flat rate, you just get $60 the whole way through. So it's a lot more common for people to be on flat rate if you're working casual hours or you're working for like a contractor. So I'm only getting penalty. You'll only really find like getting penalties if you're working like permanently for a company. So if you're working for like a labor hire or like a fucking, you've got your job through like an agency or like one of those kind of ways, you're probably going to be on flat rate. But there's nothing wrong with flat rate. Like if you get like a half decent, like good flat rate, it sort of works out evenly enough. Like at the end of the week, that like this person on flat rate was getting sort of similar to what I'm getting on thing. So yeah, I started on 33.50. Then they jumped me up to 36.50, and I'm now on 39. So, but I've only got into 39 the last like two swings. So I've only like enjoyed the fruits of the $39 an hour.
Yeah.
For the a little while, and I'm leaving. This next swing is my last swing, so like I'm not really able to like enjoy that the whole time. But whenever I come back into Australia, I'll hopefully like still be on that 39, and then
Well,
I'll
now you
keep
can
it.
negotiate, right?
Exactly. Now I can negotiate. So at the end of the week,
Yeah.
well, I was
So
at the end of the week.
tell us how much.
Yeah, I'll have you on that as your seat. So at the end of the week, I'm making 5,635. No, wait, that's wrong. I'm gonna get up my payslip right now just so I'll make sure it's right.
See, this is what I love, everybody. Cal's just so honest, especially on like
Yeah,
TikTok and on like he just
yeah.
tells it
I
how it
know there's
is.
no point people trying to bullshit around it. I just fucking right. So for my full week, right, which is working 84 hours, I make 5,329 in the week, right? And then I get taxed. So the tax I paid last week was 1732, which gave me an overall total at the very end of the week, which is money to me after tax has been taken out of where the fuck is it? 3674. Right? So 3674, I'll go to my wee exchanger app right now. 3674. That is £1,901, like Great British pounds. That's €2,222, and it's 2,386 US dollar. So that's what I make in a week, right? And I'm doing that for 3 weeks in a row. Also, while not spending any money on rent, no, not any money on fucking food or travel or like fuel or coffee or fucking anything like that. So whenever you're up there, you're able to save so much because you're doing so many hours. You're getting paid half decently, but you're also your outgoings are. There's been loads of swings where I've literally spent nothing. I don't really drink that much. I don't smoke. I don't go to the shop to buy like fucking treats or whatever. But you 100% can do that. But I just choose to not
Yeah.
to because my goal is to like save up as much money as I can to go on this big travel trip and not give a fuck about what I want to do. I do it and not care about work.
Do
Don't even
whatever you
think
want
about
to
money.
do.
I've just got a big enough pot that I'm just gonna not give a fuck and love life spending it all.
Brilliant. But so all these TikToks out here about these people saying like, oh, you can never, like, it's grueling work, right? It is hard. It's not easy. Let's say face it. Like when I'm working in the boarding house and was living in there, like you're there 24/7. You are sacrificing time for money. But for me, was only working 9 months of the year, even sometimes even less than 9 months. So
Yeah.
it seemed worth it to me because I was on like 6 holidays a year, so it wouldn't really matter. Like I was enjoying my life, whereas people thought, oh, that's so I couldn't do it. But I thought there's so much reward. Is the tough, grueling manual stuff for 3 weeks worth it in the end if you do it for a certain amount of time? Can you save?
I think so, 100%. Yeah, like I fucking managed to save up shitloads, which back home
Yeah.
does not happen because you're
No.
paying for rent, you're paying for food, and you're paying for nights out, you're paying for drink, and you're paying for this. Whereas up there, you're almost like in like a little bubble, like a little money saving bubble, where like you're in this routine and you're just like a little like worker ant for this big fucking mining company, and you're able to, yes, you're getting paid well, yes, it's tough, but once you sort of like get used to the shitness and sort of be at one with the shitness, then you get paid at the end of the week and you're like, fuck, I just made nearly 2 grand, 2 grand for working a
Yeah.
week, which is unheard of back home. I need to work for a month back home to get paid that.
100%.
So it's to me
Yeah.
it is worth
Well,
it. One more
on that note too. So go ahead.
before we go on, I would say like the way you were saying there about there like other people on TikTok, like see since I fucking started doing it, I've noticed way more people doing it on TikTok now, and other people are saying that as well. And a couple of times I've noticed as well. See, whenever people go on about how much like money you can make in a week, they're they're talking about fucking like euros and sterling and shit, which is bullshit. It's wrong. So anyone that says fucking euro or anyone that says pound, they're dogging you because it's about half the fucking what they're saying. So be careful the shit that you're listening to. And if people are saying, "Oh, you're getting paid five grand a week," yes, you get paid $5 a week, but then you get taxed. Then you get taxed 37 fucking percent. 37.5% if you're over 120 grand. So whenever I go back up to site here, I'm going to be in the next tax bracket, and I've never been in that tax bracket yet. So I'm going to be getting taxed
Good luck.
37.5%. So yeah, no. So I'm actually probably going to make less in this last swing than I have been because I'm in the higher tax bracket now. So that there, it's actually fucking working out right now.
Well, on
So
that point that you make out that you have 37%, yes, Australia does have one of the highest tax percentages. So if you do go up the brackets, it is actually more expensive as in tax wise. But Australia has the most progressive tax system in the world. You can deduct so many things from a tax return. And I would say, see a professional here because I'm not a professional. But for me, I can deduct so much from my job. This is not financial advice. Yeah, definitely not. But you can deduct so much from your tax return that if you go and listen to a few of episodes, I actually have an episode with Air Consulting, who actually runs her own tax firm. You can reach out questions. There's so many things you can deduct from your tax return to save you money, to make sure your money goes back into your pocket. So anything you buy for work and things like that, like there's specific rules around it. But the government ATO has lots of little card things to tell you what you can deduct as well. So always see a tax professional and ask them what you can deduct. And if you think your tax return is like low, like go and see a professional, like someone who actually cares, because some people just want some people will charge you $90. Like these tax agents will charge you $90 and give you no advice. I go to one who's maybe $250, but she tells me I need X, Y, and Z. Did you spend X, Y, and Z? Did you do this? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I did. So I can then save money on or get money back on things that I've paid for my job that I would never think of. So that's just a throwaway comment for people out there. So there is ways of saving yourself some money during tax time as well. So check out those episodes.
I'll definitely be listening to those episodes and following those people because I'm going to need it. My first one, I only worked for 1 month, so I didn't even really need. I paid fucking, I think it was like $1,200 or something in tax. But yeah, now I'm way more, so I'm going to have to look into all that there because people whenever tax time was sort of coming around, people were saying they're able to get back fucking 20 grand and shit, 20 grand, 15, 10, 20 grand, which is a big chunk. So what Darren's saying there is fucking 100% true. I just worked it out there. So whenever I go back up, I'm going to be getting taxed 37.5%. So I was making 5,635. I'm now going to be on 3,333. So I'm losing $300 just because I'm going into the higher tax bracket. So it's not all.
But just remember again. Yeah, I know. And when you go back to tax time, who knows what way that works out, because you do get some money back as if you've been charged too much.
Isn't there, Darren, as well, that isn't there new laws for tax coming through soon to Australia?
I'm not too sure. I would just say just wait until they tell you, the tax professionals tell you.
Yeah.
I don't want to get sued here for tax advice. Definitely when it's not my strong point. But yeah, and also if you are someone who's looking for a permanent visa, I would also suggest to follow people and look at your options before your visa runs out. That's just another thing as well. So if your visa is running out and you have no other options, is to seek some help through some migration agents. There's a free assessment with True Blue Migration Services as well. They offer a free service for the first time to give you your options. So that's also thought about that as well there. Okay. So yeah, we went into that. That's pretty good. Thank you very much for being super honest. There's one thing that I am getting from a lot of people as well, I'm sure you are as well, is the jobs for women in FIFO, because a lot of the people that are reaching out to me are young professional women that want to really get into FIFO, but they just are so scared of what will it be like on site. Will there be jobs for them to do because they don't want to do certain things, or they want to get fully stuck in and work, some of the super heavy jobs, but they just don't know how to get there?
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, totally agree with that. And like, I'm getting asked by a lot of girls about different things as well. Actually, as well. So that little guide that I've made, see, in the last maybe like 3 months, the amount of girls that have like got that guide is fucking went like really really high. Like like whenever it first started, it was maybe like 80% guys, like 20% girls. But see, in the last couple of months, it's been like fucking like 45% girls and like 55% guys. So it's, and to be fair, well, most of them are coming from the UK and Ireland. Like, so see, like the stereotypical idea of what you think like we're doing up here, like in the mining industry. You think it's all big fucking strong burly men that are all angry and pissed off at the world, which is sort of true a little bit. But but it's not like girls cannot do the roles that the guys can do. Girls can do any role that guys can do up here, and it's not like you're fucking, there's no like real fucking sexist shit where like, oh, you're a woman, you're on the cleaning. You know, there's none of that. You know what I mean? It doesn't really exist. So people are thinking that like, oh, I'm not going to be strong enough, or I'm not going to be this. I'm too girly to do this job. Get that out of your head, because like that is not true. Especially this day and age with how the whole industry is like marching on, and like so much like technology and innovation and sort of progression and has happened in all the processes and all the procedures and everything. Now there's like machines that will help you do like the majority of the stuff. So like, just don't think, oh, just because I'm like not as strong as a big fucking dude, I'm not going to get picked up. Or like, for example, like in our crew, we've probably got about I would say like 50 people on crew at one time, right? Maybe like 60. And then I would say girls wise, there's probably about 30% of them are girls, and the girls are driving dump trucks, the girls are driving water carts, the girls are driving compactors, the girls are driving fucking yeah, that's what I do. Fair. Do I have any girl digger drivers? No girl digger drivers, no girl fucking like big machine drivers. But that's maybe just because like the girls haven't like pursued that and sort of got the tickets and like expressed interest and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But there's a girl
And
who's on our compactor called Amber, and she's got a really really important role. Like she's sorting out the level of like where all the trucks are dumping, and she's got an army of dump trucks that are like not running at her, but like are going to her and dumping their loads off, and she's conducting them like an orchestra. You go there, you go there, you go there, and there's loads of guys that are driving these trucks, older guys that have been in the industry for years, and Amber's fucking like 25 or 26, and she's barking all the orders to these guys. So like that's almost like sexism in the opposite way. So the girls like bossing all the guys around. So,
but
yeah,
I think it's just
well.
I think it's the mindset. No, I was like, yo, well, like, because I think it's one of those roles that kind of scare people, because all those kind of roles like FIFO workers, a lot of my friends who have reached out and said, oh, hey, by the way, like I would love to do FIFO, but I've heard of this and this. I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe I should ask you what it's like on site, because that's where people find out the knowledge. And I've heard that there's a lot of couples that go together and they both work on site.
That's another thing I get asked about a lot. I'm saying, or people saying like, oh, I'm in a couple, is there any way we can get on the same swing or in the same camp? And I say yes. For our crew, we've probably got about, I would say, like 5 or 6 couples that are all on the same swing. They all work like, some are in the admin office and the guys are out in the machines. Some are in the workshop. Some are fucking back in camp. Some are, yes, 100%. Couples can do it, and girls can do all the roles that the guys can do. So if you're a female and you're thinking about the FIFO industry, just treat it like, if you go through my guide or go through my videos or whatever, just treat it the same way as a fucking guy would. So that's stereotypical of like a miner, like a coal miner who's covered in fucking shite, who's sweating his balls off. Like, you could be working in like the admin office, the girls in there like sort out all the flights and all the wishy-washy shit that all the company all like needs to get people up to site and home and all that kind of stuff. And like, they're all girls and they get paid well, like good money. And the boyfriends are either in the workshop or fucking out in the field or doing whatever. So get that out
I feel
of your
like
head.
it's a stereotypical thing.
It is,
like people are just thinking in their
like,
heads what it's going to be like.
Yep. But as this whole thing is went on with progression and technology and shit and becoming more inclusive, and then at nighttime, whenever you walk through like the tavern where all the people like are sitting drinking beers and shit, it's all like a full mix. Girls are there, guys are there. There's a female only gym up there, but loads of the girls just use the guys' gym because it's better. So there's not like It's really, really like not as sort of like old fashioned and like traditional as you might think. It's
as
really
what
like a
people
lot more
may
inclusive.
think. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's
So
great to
like,
hear because
yeah,
that will put people's minds at ease, especially some people that I know who were asking about that, and they
yeah.
were wondering
What
like what kind of weird things go on, you know?
one more thing about the girls. I've talked to a couple of, because I've had those questions from girls, right? And I have asked a couple of the girls on my crew about things that they were worried about whenever before they were coming up. So I am going to be making like a TikTok video specifically all about like what questions or what like the girls on my crew have like thought and what's their fucking opinions and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be coming from like the horse's mouth uh, of a girl who's come over here from Ireland or wherever and is now in the same job or in the
Brilliant.
same like role or crew as I am. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
brilliant. That's excellent. We've got like a whole range of stuff there already so far we've talked about. Okay, so a big one on TikTok right now, especially like blowing up. I never have seen so many FIFO TikToks in my life, but all of them keep saying like
I know shit.
maybe 60% are saying there's not as many jobs being as advertised as what you say. It's all like the comments from the trolls underneath are there's no jobs, it's a waste of time trying. What do you say to that?
I would say that is horseshit because see the people that actually like go that extra like 5%, 10%. Think about it, right? Take Perth for example. So since COVID happened, everyone from all over the world are going fuck my country. No opportunities in my country. Australia seems unbelievable. There's just so many like strong push factors from people from Ireland. For perfect example, so it's talked about in the Irish fucking government back home about how Ireland as a government and as like a parliament has failed the young people because we have had the biggest influx of 18 to 35, that age demographic. There's been the most that have ever moved over to Australia last year, 2022 to 2023, and it's probably going to be even more whenever the stats come out for 2023 to 2024 because everyone just wants to like leave where they are because they don't really see like any like opportunities and shit like that over here. So think about it like from Perth. Perth has had like a big influx of people from all over the world that are all coming here to try and find these FIFO jobs because the barrier to entry isn't really that high. I came over with no experience, as can you. So the barrier to entry is quite low, and the ability to earn is actually pretty fucking high whenever you get in and find your way and get settled. So whenever I came over, I definitely was first thinking like whenever I went to do all the tickets, like you have to get your white card and you're working heights and all that kind of stuff. The person who like the instructor person who was talking at the very start would sort of go around the whole class and be like, "Why are you here? Where are you from?" All that kind of stuff. And pretty much like every person in the class was like, "I'm over here from Germany or France or fucking Ireland or England, and I'm over here looking to get one of these FIFO roles." And everyone in the class was the same. So I was going, "Oh fuck! Like maybe this is going to be a bit more tricky than I first thought." But I definitely would think that the amount of like projects and shit that are going on over here, and the amount of stuff in the pipeline of projects to be happening, the mining is not slowing down. It is 100% not slowing down. So the projects are going to continue to happen. The companies are going to continue to be opening up new mines and opening up different things and opening up this and opening up that. And it's not just mining; it's like fucking like real networks and like fucking solar farms and like all this infrastructure of like shit that like Australia exports or produces or whatever. There's FIFO jobs for those people. It's not just in a hole mining. Do you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
would definitely say that like people come over here and sort of expect because they've heard so much online about like how easy it is to get a job and how much money you can make and how everyone's fucking doing it X Y Z, which is sort of true in a way. But those people who are just coming over, they'll not get their resume done up properly. They'll not get the right tickets that they need. They'll not be putting in like a lot of effort to try and get the job, and they're just going to sit in a hostel and just send out maybe like 10 fucking resumes to seek. You're not getting a job. You're not getting a job because these companies have so many people applying for them, right? And it's just one big ball of people applying. And actually, this is probably before I finish this topic, we're going to talk about I'm going to talk about the applicant tracking systems after this, right? Which is another fucking
Yeah.
key part. So people come over here and they'll get a couple of tickets. They'll get their working heights, confined spaces, gas testing, which is like the white card, super basic. fucking 95% of the people coming over here get those there. You can get them in a day and it doesn't really cost that much. So everyone get those. But it's the people that are like willing to then go above again and above again and above again to actually like stand out way more from that big bubble of group that everybody's at the same sort of level. Do you know what I mean? Like people are asking me, how the fuck have you got a job so quickly? You've got over here with no experience. And I got a job within, it was like 26 or 27 days after landing. But I was gun hoeing for the job every fucking day. I had 3 days of like chilling out, going to see like tourist shit. And after that, I was living in the training center for 2 fucking weeks. And after those 2 weeks were over, I was hounding Alana from WinWin to get the resume done. And once that was done, I was sat behind my computer and behind my phone for about fucking 10 days. And yes, it was grim, and yes, it was horrible, but it got me a fucking call. It got me a call, and then I was away. And that's been me ever since.
And also,
so at the
if you check the first episode, I will post Alana's website and everything below this show notes as well, because you mentioned her before, and you've also done a few interviews with her that are on YouTube as well.
I have, yes. So Alana, she is the owner of a company called WinWin, which is spelled W1N space W1N. So WinWin Recruitment, right? She's a Kiwi girl called Alana. She's been in the industry for fucking 20 years. All the like women that have working in the office have all been in the similar positions, and they are the absolute one-stop shop. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am. The people to like get your resume done up by 100%. See the resume that I sent them and the resume they sent me back. It was fucking chalk and cheese. And I'll tell you every day that one of the main reasons I got the job so quickly was by fucking WinWin. So anyone who's wanting to like seriously do this, getting your resume done up properly, which will lead me on to this talking about this next thing, is such a key part. It's such a key part. And the resumes over here that they're looking for are slightly different to back home. Like I would say like resumes back home for us are, I would describe them as like a bit like fluffy. A bit like sort of the format is all like looking nice and it all like looks like quite like aesthetically pleasing. Whereas over here, it's just very, very, very like simple and very, very like to the point, which leads me on to the next one. So I have a lot, like you see people saying, oh, well, I've been applying for fucking ages and ages and ages and I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not getting any callbacks. I've sent 200 applicants. I'm not getting any callbacks. I can guarantee you right now, it's because of your resume. So over here, these companies have what's called applicant tracking systems, right? So it's pretty much software that sieves through thousands and thousands and thousands of job applications, and it goes through fucking everything. I had a picture on mine. I had fucking page numbers on mine. I had like layout on mine all wrong. She was like, Cal, your resume will not get past the wall at all. So if you never contacted us and we're just applying, you could be applying for fucking 10 years. You're never hitting a job. So this applicant tracking system is software that sieves through all of them to then shortlist the ones that like pass its like test to then go to in front of a human. So the people who are like not getting anywhere, I can guarantee you your resume is not getting past the applicant tracking system. So Alana was saying, I've chatted to her a bit about it as well. So it's also on the other interview on my YouTube. So she says like it goes through absolutely everything. It goes through word count, fucking font size, layout, how many tables, how many bullet points, how many words, how many like everything it can like scan, it'll go through on your resume. So which is why I think like coming over here and getting your resume done up professionally by a company that is like super into mining and construction, WinWin are the girls to contact 100%. And I'll even like leave a little like link like down below for this here. To bring you to their packages. They offer 3 different packages. I went for the job jumpstarter one, which was the most expensive one. I'm pretty sure it was like $1,100 or something, maybe like $1,000. But I knew coming over here that it was going to cost a bit of money to like come over with, and like it was going to cost a bit of investment to get me a job, especially because I had no experience. So I came over and probably spent like $2,000, I would have said, in total, which got me all my tickets, got me my HR ticket, got me all my stuff with Alana. So it probably cost me £2,000, but I was totally willing to spend that. I had it in my budget. So anyone coming over here, keep in your budget maybe $2,000 to like devote to this is my get me a fucking job money. So once that there is done, you literally make that back after fucking 4 days of working. So it's definitely worth it in your budget. But I just want to reiterate that if you're not getting anywhere, it's down to your resume, and your resume is so important, and it might not even get in front of a human before you like give up even. even trying. So getting a resume done up by the WinWin girls is a key part of coming over here and getting a role. So yeah, that's my
Yeah.
2 cents on that.
But excellent. Thank you so much for like even telling us about that, because I had no idea. But I do know that
Yeah.
resumes here are totally different than home. Like I had to
Yeah.
like completely gut my resume, and I ended up contacting someone who did my resume for me as well to get my when I was going for an assistant principal
Yeah.
job at one point. Um, okay, so
Worth
let's
it.
just
100%.
that was just that yeah, 100%. That was like so much information, Cal. Thank you so much. Just leave us with your TikTok guide, because you've been working on this for a while.
Of the guide. Right, okay. So the guide came about. It's been a bit of a mad, not really a mad story, but yeah, just from like whenever I first started doing these videos, I actually just posted up a video on my TikTok, the most recent one, a couple of fucking minutes ago before we started, all about how my TikTok journey like started and how I got to where I was. So go watch that. So whenever I came over and I just started like taking videos around the place of like, I was fucking brand new over here, never seen big machines, never seen like big cool landscapes, never seen iron ore, never seen this, that, and the other. And I was just like, fucking hell, this place is fucking mad. So I just started taking videos and then just like posting like little ones here and there on Instagram and TikTok and stuff. But like they're really like not really doing that well. And I didn't really care though. I was just doing it just to sort of like show progression in what I was doing to my like friends and family back home. So whenever I was doing that, people then were just asking me like loads about it. And this is even before I even like wanted to like say I was like helping people or whatever. People were just interested and like wanted to know more. So the more and more I did this, more and more questions I was getting. And this is before I even talked about the guy or talked about helping people. And everyone was sort of asking generally the same kind of questions. And then as the TikTok videos sort of got bigger and bigger and bigger, and whenever like the room one went up and the how much money I was getting paid like went up, like I'm pretty sure the one how much money I was making at the very beginning was on like I think it's on like 2.8 million views or something. So
Wow,
whenever all that
crazy.
happened, and then the messages started to absolutely flood in, and I mean like flood in to the point like I was getting home and I was sitting in bed just sending everybody like voice notes as quick as I could, opening one, reading it, sending the voice note straight away on to the next one. I just did that until I fucking went to bed, and I was doing that for like weeks. And every day I opened them up, and there was just another like it wasn't even like 10. There was like another like 70 or like 80 in a day, and then the next day you tried to fucking get those again, and then it just was so unmanageable. And I like wanted to like help people. I wanted to like give people my knowledge and sort of wanted to like give everyone the time of day. So I was like, "There's no fucking way I can keep doing this." But I wanted to continue the thing. So then people were like, "Why don't you make a guide?" And I was like, "Nah, don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Like that's going to take loads of fucking effort, and I'm dyslexic as fuck, so it would take me ages and ages and ages to write it out." Which it did take me fucking ages and ages to write it out. But people were asking me all the general same kind of stuff. And as these questions were coming in, I was making like a little notes in my like notes app, and was just making these headings that like people like this is asked a lot. Here's a heading. This is asked a lot. Here's a heading. And then I sort of thought of like, right, if I made a guide here, if I made a guide that has like all of my knowledge in it, and it's all sort of like very like simple to follow and like easily like laid out and easy like read through, and it's got all like hyperlinks and stuff in it. So whenever I talk about like going to get a white card, if you click the fucking link that's in my guide, it'll bring you to the page where you get your white card. So like it's super simple, easy to follow, and being a big benefit to a lot of people. So I started writing out all those little headings, and then I was like, right, so if I was wanting, whenever I was first coming over here, I didn't really think there was like much information about how to like a clear pathway on someone coming over here with a working holiday visa and getting a FIFO job. That didn't exist. So the only like bit of information I was getting from FIFO was just like articles that you were fucking like googling, and then like Alana, the WinWin girls, they had a YouTube page that like had a good lot of stuff in it as well. So I was just there, and then I was like, right, well, if I'm going to make a guide here, I'm going to make the best version of a guide that I can. And I'm going to really think of like me as I'm the key audience that I'm writing this for before I came over here, which is why I think like sort of
Yeah.
I've sort of grown and got like it's caught traction with this, because people can like relate to me, because I was just fucking 10 months ago I was in Ireland. I was in Ireland working in a fucking in Lidl, which is a supermarket back home, and I was
Yeah.
delivering Amazon parcels in a fucking in a truck. Before that I was doing all the nightclub stuff, but like yeah, like, and I was like, right, sold my car, sold my mountain bike, sold everything, and then just started to research it and came over. But I had to like find out all this shit like by myself almost. I knew that I wanted to get a FIFO role. I knew that I didn't really have like a pathway in, so I was like, right, come up with this game plan. But then, yeah, so whenever I was like designing the guide, I just was really, really trying to focus on like making the guide exactly how I would have wanted it if I was coming over. And it took me ages and ages to make. Like, I was sort of just like slowly chipping away at it at nighttime. And like whenever I was coming home from work, I was maybe like writing out like another paragraph or like another page or whatever. And just after months and months and months and months of almost like procrastinating and like not just sitting down and like fucking blasting through it for like a while. But then like once I sort of like got into it and the structure and all became like a lot like nicer, I was like, right, I'm like 2/3 of the way through here, just blast it until it finishes. And then after that there, I
Yeah.
sent I got all like nice photos and shit like that, and then just made it. And it's actually done way better than I ever thought it was. I was like, fuck, I'll do this here just to sort of try and answer the
100%.
questions that people are asking me, and then if I make a bit of money out of it, fucking unbelievable. But it's fucking done way better than I thought it would. And the feedback that I'm getting, like I'd wake up uh, to do my job, go through my messages, and like some of the messages you get, like you literally just like start smiling and like start getting like not like teary eyed, but you're just like, oh, it's like so fucking nice because people are saying like, oh, you're helping me so much,
Yeah.
you're inspiring me to come over, you're sort of showing me a pathway in and X, Y, Z. And then there's like all that group of people saying you're helping them and you're inspiring them, and they're saying that like the guide is super easy to follow, super like detailed, and it's made for like a guy said to me there today, like this is full like retard proof, and I was like I was like fuck, don't be saying that, but he's just saying
Oh
it's like
goodness. Yeah. Yeah.
super simple,
But it's
super easy to follow.
simple to follow. Yeah.
It
And I
is
even bought it
100%.
just to support you. And I read
Oh,
it and I was
listen,
like, yeah, this is like, it's straight through. Like, it literally, like, you could do it. Anybody could do it.
anyone can do it, and like I think like, that's why like the feedback's been so good, and it's been so like fulfilling to like know that like something I was like sort of putting a lot of effort into, hating writing it because it was taking up so much fucking time, but then actually
Of
whenever I like
course.
focused on it and like did try and make it, it's like done so well, and just because like one of the main things I'll get from people are people saying, I'm from Ireland or the UK or somewhere in Europe back home. I want to come over to Australia to work in this FIFO role. I have no idea where to start. I have no experience. What do I do? And see, what you do right now is you go to my guide and you buy it and you follow from the very fucking start and you go the whole way through it. And that is exactly what you do. And it is fucking tried
Amen.
and tested. Yeah, people have came over with no experience, have got the guide, have followed all the steps, and are now on FIFO fucking sites. I start from the very beginning. I start from like talking like a little tiny bit about me. Then I talk about like before you even like fucking book a flight. So a flight, most people come over through like Dubai or Qatar. I actually went a different way. I went through Singapore, and it cost me cheaper to go to Singapore, spend 4 days in Singapore, then go Singapore to Perth. It cost me cheaper to do that than going from Dublin to Dubai to fucking the Perth. So it just starts off there, and it goes through like once you get in Australia, it's broken up into sections. What to do before you even like get on the plane, what to do as soon as you arrive, which is all the admin stuff, which is sorting out your fucking Telstra and your Commonwealth and your Medicare and your superannuation.
Life.
Talks about taxes, all that admin shit that you need to do whenever you're over here, which is all time consuming and not fun. So it tells you where to go, how to do it, what to bring, all that kind of stuff. So that's the next that section, and the third section is the big beefy one that has like the most sort of goodness in it for people like finding a FIFO job. Start from the very beginning. What is FIFO? Pros and cons, and I talk about every little thing about the role. Talk about the tickets to get. Talk about the training. Talk about where to go. Talk about fucking how to do the resume, how to approach people, other little things to approach people, like loads, everything I could fucking think of. And I'm sure you could probably tell like
It's
from
there.
our little chats, like I'm thorough and I like giving as much information as possible. So I tried to do that with the guide, and yeah, just been getting a lot of great feedback from it, and it's really sort of spurred me on to like actually like continue wanting to like help people like loads. And now I'm constantly like keep like getting updated by people who are like about to go on site, and I have like a little chat with them, and people who are like there, oh, how are you getting on, how you settled in, and I'll try and like be almost like a little like a big brother figure
Yeah.
on like how you getting on what to
Yeah,
do,
of
and this is
course.
my advice, all kind of stuff.
And I've even
But it's like
heard you got
built up,
recognized. Yeah.
recognized.
Yeah, you're even
Fuck,
getting
bye,
recognized
bye.
in Perth, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. See, so I was at that Fred again concert the other night. Fuck, I probably
Yeah.
had about, no joke, probably about 20 people came up to me and was like, "Oh, here, love your videos, thank you so much. Oh, you're helping everybody." And like, I just give them a big hug and go, "Oh, that's so nice, that's so nice."
Oh,
Do you know what I mean? Because it's,
but that just
yeah, it's
shows
a
you that
sweet
you're giving
and
so good advice and you're helping people who want
yeah,
to like change their lives because that's what people are
yeah,
doing. They're literally wanting to change their lives. Like, and that's what, I came here to do is change my life and make it better in like
yeah,
financial weather and just like in general, just in my quality
yeah,
of life. Like, yes, Australia is expensive, but as you prove, you're like living proof that you can do it, save money, and then go and travel and do what you want. Like even if it's for a couple of years, you've lived
100%,
your best life for a couple of years. You've
100%.
done it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, 100%. And this is another thing. See anyone that has the ability to come over here and get a working holiday visa, you should 100% just fucking try it. See, even if you don't like it, you can come over here, do it for fucking 2 weeks, and go, "This is shite." But I guarantee you won't, because it's fucking unreal.
yeah,
It's so so good, and the amount of people coming over here, it's for good reason. Like it's hardly rains, weather's, I'm in shorts, t-shirts, and flip flops all day, every day, and you get paid loads of money, loads of like fucking good looking people about. All the facilities are unbelievable. It's, you know what I mean. It's especially you. You're yeah, fair. But you're a, you're 100%. Yeah, that's no worries. That's no worries at all. Yeah, I want to try and help as many people as I can. So hopefully this can reach loads more eyes. And if anyone wants more information, jump on my TikTok or get my little guide and yeah, just go through it. And I can guarantee you, see if you just follow steps, you'll fucking get a job. And just don't like what does it say? You will enter. Oh, I went away there. Are we still on? Yeah, we're still on. So is Darren coming back? He's gone. Nice then. Anyway, yeah, I was just saying, like, if anyone is coming over here, even before you're coming over and you're thinking about coming over, if you're like, before you like start making big commitments to like buy flights and buy visas and all that kind of shit, see if you've got my guide and like went through it. It will give you like a real good idea of what's like ahead of you and what is sort of lies ahead to what the direction you need to be going and where you need to focus your efforts whenever you land, just to sort of give you an idea of like, it'll give you a bit of help to like make that decision a bit easier. So if you don't, or if you're thinking about it and sort of like on the fence a wee bit, get the guide just to give you of an idea of a bit more about it. And yeah, Darren just texted me there saying, battery just died. Oh fuck, what happens now? Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh, here, send to me as well. You will enter the studio once the host is there. Fuck's sake, it's still like counting up though on the timer. I was chatting.